does not teach you that. You do not have the right to say, Wallah, okay, let's sit down and okay, let's have, Wallah, ikhwan, this is how it is. Okay, here's a list of sheikhs and here's a list of people. Okay, alright, get the checklist of aqidah, Muslim, non-Muslim, hellfire, paradise, okay, high position in the paradise, lowest position in the paradise. شو هالكلام هذا؟ Wallahi, we've never heard the Prophet ﷺ do this. No, his companions were like this. No, the Salaf were like this. No, the scholars and the great scholars ever spoken about that. The Prophet ﷺ accepted people by La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. We must accept him for that. As long as we don't see kufr or he kufr. Very simple. So you do not have that right to question anyone's aqidah. You do not have that right. Okay? You have the right to ask general questions. What do you say about this? What do you tell me about that? Yeah, but to go and say, Wallah, look, akhi, I'm coming to ask you, are you a Muslim or not? Tell me, you're a Muslim or not? Because I heard that you studied in a different place. This is what's happening. People accuse me, as Sheikh Shadi now, accuse me of my aqidah because I studied in Syria. Subhanallah. So I'm going to the hellfire because I've studied in Syria. Subhanallah. And all the scholars that studied in Syria for the last 1,000 years, they're all in the hellfire. And the amazing thing is, including Ibn Taymiyyah, he studied in Syria. Ibn Qayyim, he studied in Syria. Imam Al-Albani studied in Syria. Imam Al-Nawawi studied in Syria. Ibn Asakir, he studied in Syria. All the great scholars, because they studied in Syria. Is that talk that goes around the ikhwani? Wallahi ikhwani, there is talk going around. If someone studies in that school, no, they've got the wrong aqidah. If he studied at that university, no, he's got the wrong aqidah. If he studied at this university, alhamdulillah, he's from the Mubashirin. He's from the people of the paradise. What kind of a talk is this, ikhwan? What kind of a fitna is that? What kind of an attitude is that? And then I say, well, I follow the Prophet ﷺ. Is that how the Prophet was? La wallah. Is that how the Salaf were? La wallah, they were like this. So ikhwani, we have to respect each other. We have to respect each other. Okay, aqidah these days includes issues such as prophets are infallible. Okay, then people ask aqidah because after the philosophers discussing ayat and mutashabihat, isn't it important to see the influence of the graves? Okay, ayat and mutashabihat, that's something we're going to talk about in details next week. So don't give me questions on ayat and mutashabihat, inshallah I'm going to talk about it. When someone asks you where is Allah, okay, what an answer to say back to them. Okay, this is something I'm going to talk about in a very clear form. Okay, so it does not confuse people. And I can't say these things, and I'm telling you, I've got a lesson for 4 weeks to clarify those things point by point, okay? Point by point. Okay, give me questions on revolving tonight's lecture. If Islam is the natural religion, why is that as human beings it is difficult to comprehend Allah Azza wa Jalla? Could this be stopping people to embrace Islam? Comprehend Allah Azza wa Jalla. Because your natural instinct, you can't comprehend Allah. You can't even comprehend yourself. This is the truth. You can't comprehend yourself. Okay, how's that? Akhi, do you have a brain? Yes, I do have a brain. Tell me where's your brain. Okay, my brain is here. So where do you think from? Aren't you thinking now? Okay, start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, isn't that coming from your brain? From which side? Here? 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 Where? Everyone else looking at me like that. Wallah, it's true. Where? You don't even know your reality. You don't even know your own reality. How are you going to know the reality of Allah Azza wa Jal? You as a human being with your own brains, you can't even know your own reality. Alright? You can't even know your own reality. You're going to know the reality. You're going to start comprehending Allah Azza wa Jal and the attributes of Allah. Allah Azza wa Jal is above our imagination. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is above our imagination. We know Allah through His creation. We know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through His creation and His great attributes, that Allah Azza wa Jal, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mercy on us, Allah Azza wa Jal forgives us, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes things easy for us. This is how we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So to get into the details of comprehending Allah, that's something that you never reach to. Because if I tell you, for example, okay, if I tell you, okay, the heavens and the earth, the skies, can you picture the whole skies all one piece in your mind? You can't. It's too big for your mind. And we're talking about creation here. You're talking about a creation. Okay? You're talking about a creation. If I tell you, for example, okay, here's one box of tissues. Okay, picture 1 million boxes of tissues together. Can you picture it? You're just going to see something big, your mind just stops. You can't even, these are little things in life. How about the great one, Allah Azza wa Jal? Allah Azza wa Jal above our imagination. Our mind has limits. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the unlimited one with His attributes and His great attributes subhanahu wa ta'ala. Can you tell us some of the topics and what you'll cover in next year? Okay, these are the topics that, wallahi ikhwani, I don't want to talk about them for the sake that I want to talk about them. I want to talk about them for the sake of clarifying. Because it became a confusion. And I know some of the topics that we'll be talking about. By Allah, the Prophet and the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba never spoken about. And I'm telling you they've never spoken about. Such as the ayat al-mutashabihat, such as about where Allah Azza wa Jal is, and going into the details of those matters. Wallahi, they've never spoken about it. There's not even one hadith, there's not even one narration that says ever that the Prophet ﷺ sat down with the Sahaba and spoke about those things. But I'm going to speak about them. Why? Because of clarifying. If it wasn't for that sake, I would not even speak about it. And some of the brothers here know that I've been given lessons here for the last 8 years. I've never opened those topics. Why? Because I want to open what the Prophet ﷺ opened. I want to speak about what the Prophet ﷺ spoke about. But because there's some confusion that brothers became confused in, due to a lot of things have been imported into their minds, I want to clarify those matters for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. And not for the sake of attacking anyone. And I don't want anyone to walk out in their hearts, wallah, he means that group, la wallah. Because everyone that says La ilaha Muhammad Rasulullah, they are my brothers. And they're your brothers. And inshallah Allah Azza wa Jal unites our heart. But unfortunately there's some people with ignorance. Don't know what they're talking about. Don't know what they're talking about. Like when someone, for example, comes and tells me, Sheikh, what's your aqidah? Okay, you want to know what's my aqidah? You tell me what's aqidah. I don't know. You're asking me what's my aqidah, you don't even know what's aqidah. You tell me what's aqidah. I don't know. Well, you have people like this. You have people come up to you and ask you a question, they don't even know what they're asking. Then what are you asking me for? What are you asking me for? Yani, this is ignorance. It's the top of the peak of ignorance. Some people come up to me and say, Sheikh, tell me where Allah is. Tabakka, if I tell you where Allah is, does that mean I'm going to enter the paradise? Khalas? You're going to be pleased? These questions shows ignorance. Absolute ignorance. And then I say, but because I just want to stick to the Salaf. But the Salaf never did this. You say you're following the Salaf, but they never did this. How could you claim that you're following them when they never did? Say, Ikhwani, you want to... That's why, Ikhwani. Yes, I am a Salaf. But I'm a Salaf with what? Insha'Allah. I'tiqad wa a'mal, insha'Allah. We are Salaf by belief, and we are Salaf by action. We are Salaf by belief, and we are Salaf by action. Because when we hear about the Salaf, how they used to respect each other, and how they used to, admire one another, and how they used to stand by each other, this is what we need to be. This is the Salaf that we want to follow. The Salaf, that the truly we're Salaf, that the Prophet ﷺ said that are the best of nations. Allahumma ja'alna min alladhina yastami'una al-qawl fayattabi'una ahsana. Okay, there's a lot of questions. I know for sure I'll be covering that. So inshallah have patience, because sometimes you can't understand the letter, the letter D until you understand the letter, C. So let us, when we go things inshallah slowly, we understand them. Jazakallah khairan, Allah reward you for listening.